happy Tuesday. I'm not one to like to complain. However, something very unlucky happened today, which you will be seeing in this video at the end of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and recap today's trading session. Please sit back and enjoy. Yo, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Chad, I watched the finale of The Penguin last night. I can't stop thinking about it. No spoilers. I'm just saying, I can't stop thinking about it. I also did not know that the Penguin... Okay, first off, I'm a big believer in the very first, like the trilogy Batman that was like, you know, early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. And so I didn't watch the new one that came out with the Twilight guy. But I didn't know that that movie feeds right into the Penguin show. And then the Penguin show ends and feeds right into part 2 of the Batman movie. So now I have to watch the first Batman. Anyways, wild, man. You mean emo Batman? Yeah. I don't know if I can get behind it, but the fact that they're building like a whole universe around it, which is so unfortunate. They should have built a whole universe around the Dark Knight era. Because that like Christian Bale is goated as Batman, to be honest. They should have done that, but we take what we can get. All right, guys. Looking like a VWAP open. That's exciting. 21,200 psych level, huh? Just kind of consolidating right around the highs. We got yesterday's value area high, 20 points higher. Yesterday's value area low, 40 points lower. 60-point value area with a VWAP open. Yesterday's close at 220s. I don't know. We need to break out of value area, in my opinion, to get a decent move here. Okay, chat. If we are VWAP opening for a while, if we're really chopping at VWAP, I'm going to be looking into the wheel strategy for options. I keep seeing this dude pop up on my Twitter talking about collecting premiums and ish, and I'm somewhat intrigued to at least do a little bit of research. I figure I can do it on stream if we are super bored with the market. If it's just VWAP chopping. If it's not VWAP chopping, then we'll obviously continue trading. But that's kind of the game plan, is that if it's a VWAP chop and we're just going to do like a whole lot of nothing, I'll be looking at the wheel strategy a little bit also. Mostly just so I can... I know not a lot about options, and I don't really think I would ever actually execute it, but this dude got me intrigued. So it's the options time of year again. Yeah, right. Markets are open. It's the one time of the year. It's finally here. I still do on my one time of the year ES trade. I haven't done that yet, and then my options one time a year thing is coming up here. So I really want like overnight highs to get run or value area low to get run. That's kind of like where I stand. I want like 50 points out of this out of this open one way or the other. All right, I got 8 minutes long green light to trade. If you didn't know, I like to wait the first 8 minutes or first 15 minutes. Let the shenanigans kind of shake out. The shenanigans right now being, are we going to pop the overnight highs or are we going to return to VWAP, right? And I don't know the answer to that yet. Buyer's looking all right, all things considered. It was a nice 20 to 80 rejection. Rejected 20, magical 20s. Rejected 80s. Popped right back up. That was clean, all things considered. Magical 20s and 80s. I would love to see those start playing a little bit more, honestly. But I would not be shocked to see us return to VWAP. We'll see, especially if we get volume up here somehow. News-wise on the session, I forgot to talk about that. We've got November 12th. We have Barkin at 9:15 and Fed inflation expectations at 10 o'clock. All right, November 12th, Tuesday. Ready, chat? November 12th, Tuesday. Dad joke. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up button down below. Here's your reward. I'm thinking of becoming a hitman. I've heard they make a killing. Pretty good. I like that one. All right. Coming into that 210 VWAP. I mean, '07 VWAP, give it 8 points into sweeping those prior lows. Not terrible. Potentially even like a little run of VWAP. '04, something like this. Keep it real tight. 5 points. Might sweep it though. Let's see. Yeah, I swept it. I got half a point of slippage. Worth a shot for defending that prior low. I think maybe we just barely sweep it. Maybe I get straight up bottom tick stopped there. But worth it to defend this because we had a higher high on the 1 minute. So in my mind, holding this low before sweeping it, it's a good spot to bounce off of it with VWAP. Was able to take it a little bit cheaper too with not getting in at '07. So worth a try in my opinion. I think now we probably wait for 80s. So yeah, I mean, I was just going for holding the trend there. Nothing more, nothing less. Trying to find it as cheap as I possibly could to hold the trend. Didn't work. Worth a stab. Seems like you've been unfortunately catching every flush. Dude, it's. I would say the first hour, the answer is yes. Just gets a little bit more volatile. But the thing is that as the day progresses, you can really get away with those 5 point trades. It's just hard with the open volatility. But that's the thing also is like with the open volatility, I want it to be a tight situation. So yeah, no qualms on my side. I think there's different markets where you can trade it differently, obviously. But right now in the current situation, I'm pretty happy to be doing it the way I'm doing it. And it's saving me money literally as we speak. Yeah, see, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I just like, if we're going to hold the trend, you buy it here, right? And you have a tight stop, and the tight stop works while the trend breaks, and you save yourself a lot of points. I got out at 200. I got in at 04. Saved myself 25 points. No crazy size on the books either. A little bit more higher. We'd probably go back to VWAP. Not a ton of buyers though, but I think after that sweep of the lows, a rotation back into the middle of the range makes a lot of sense. I think it was a good trade that just didn't work. So I was smart. Yeah, I'm not gonna complain about it at all. It's so important to be able to take a losing trade, move on. A lot of people don't want to take a losing trade, right? That's why the guy asked me about why don't I have bigger stops right now. It's because typically that comes from a standpoint of I don't want to take a losing trade, right? Let me open my stop up so I don't have to take a losing trade, right? As opposed to where does this trade become invalid, right? I took the trade off where it became invalid in my mind, which is a break of the swing low. Now, is it sexy to have a 5 point stop get hit? No. But we're in it to trade, right? Survive and trade the whole day if needed, right? It's a job. I'm not trying to get in and out 30 minutes by having a super open stop that's now in the money, right? Have I historically done this? 100%. Where I would take 25 points of drawdown and now I'd be up 15, right? Or maybe even 20. And it's like, is that worth it? Potentially, right? There's an argument there. If you took 25 points of drawdown and you're up 25 points, could it have been worth it? The answer is, I mean, it's technically a 1-to-1. But for me right now, the answer is no. Not this early in the day. The answer is not worth it. Not first hour of the day. Just past 30 minutes on the day, I'm not trying to take 25 for 25. You know what I mean? Take 25 to get 25. Take 25 to get 30 for that matter. I'm not trying to do that. Flashbang. A lot of people have an equity curve that looks like this. Okay, you have dollars and you have days, right? And so you have these days, like it's just like slow stair stepping up as each day goes by, right? And this might look like a very good equity curve, but what you realize is that these people very often, in my opinion, and what I see very often is this, where they are so they typically don't have tight stops, And it's typically from a standpoint of like, they'll take trades super deep into the drawdown and get out at 10, 15 points or whatever, right? They'll take, or 5 points, 5, 10, 15 points, whatever. And they just stack these really small days and they have open drawdown, but they keep getting out, right? Like they for this trade, for instance, like they took 25 points of heat. They get out at 5, 10 or whatever. They go ahead and call it a day. And there eventually becomes a day where this doesn't happen and they are no longer around because they didn't know how to take a loss. They didn't know how to have a stop loss, right? Or just to, not even a stop loss. They didn't know how to take a loss, right? And so they're so concerned about keeping this equity curve just legging up consistently that they fail to actually understand what risk is, right? They fail to understand that the risk is this, and they end up blowing it in a day or two because they are not capable of logging a loss. So my whole point in saying all of this is, if you're going to take a trade, know where you're going to get out at, right? When you get into the trade, know where you're going to get out at. If you don't know where you're going to get out at, have a fail-safe stop by the bare minimum, right? But each trade should have a invalidation point, right? And that saves you from this, right? The invalidation point saves you from the tumble. But everybody wants this looking equity curve, when in reality, equity curves, you know. And why do they have days like this on an equity curve, a legit equity curve? Is because you have to be able to learn how to take an L. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not trying to like roast either. I see it all the time, and I think it's important to describe what we're seeing, right? And so you see this often, you know, it happens at like day 15, day 10, sometimes day 5, right? Day 5, day 10, day 15, day 20. And the longer that it happens, the more inevitable this is, in my opinion. You're looking at day 25, day 30 of just a consistent, very routine, straight up grind. To me, screams, I don't know how to take a stop loss. I'm usually probably playing a zone in some capacity, averaging into trades, playing a zone, and eventually that zone snaps while I'm not prepared, and yoink. And then I DCA into oblivion. Yeah, we've all been there. I'm not roasting. I'm speaking out of experience too. Like most everything else in the stream is straight up experience. So how can you avoid that, right? It's just having validation points on your trade. All that I'm trying to get at. It's called winner's tilt. Yeah, that's a good descriptor of it, honestly. Matt, would you say that traders at a 30 to 35% win rate are typically more profitable than those with a 60+% win rate? Seems wrong, but when I accept winning less than the proper risk, the payouts begin. There's no way for me to answer that, to be honest. There's no way. I think that there's people that crush with above a 30 to 35%. There's people that, honestly, realistically, there's probably people that crush at every single level of the madness, right? That being said, the only thing that's certain is that you're not going to win 100% of your trades. So if you know for sure you're not going to win 100% of your trades, stop trying to act like you're going to. I've seen some epic runs from people, but at the end of the day, even an epic run eventually has a losing day. You will not be green 100% of the days. It's literally just facts. And you're not going to be green 100% of your trades. Also just facts. Rob, see you tomorrow, man. Sorry about the mental capital. I feel you though. This chop drains me. I'll be honest, it drains me. Whenever it's not exciting to watch, I feel like my mental capital drains faster. When it's just like going sideways in the 20, 30 point range, I'm like, I feel like I'm trading the overnight session and definitely feel like I get drained a little quicker. Guess I should have bought IBL. It didn't rest well with me. Given the fact that we kind of had like our first two like solid candles in a row into IBL, and then Delta was super heavy, I just couldn't bring myself to snag it. But I'm not shocked that we're rotating back up. Garrett, it's only like 20 points off the lows. It's like nothing, honestly. Hey, tested the prior open there is interesting. 84. Give it 5 points. While Delta's kind of heavy though. I'm going to take the try here. I'll get out at new lows, and I'm looking for a push up off of the prior open. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and move that break even because I'm up 6 points, 7 points.
Sharp as a tack, he's got his eyes on the Nasdaq, ain't no looking back. He wakes up every morning sipping on that coffee black, trading numbers on his screen, yeah, he's got that knack.